Welcome back to the channel. This is Aaron for the Love of Tech, and I'm really glad you're here. Today, we are doing a camera comparison. Now, what I have set up today is I have my main camera, my Sony a7R III. The S20 Ultra is currently recording me as well, and the OnePlus 8 Pro is also recording video. The reason I'm doing this is because I want you to see the quality difference between a super high-end, what I feel like is a professional camera, and then what the smartphone videos actually look like. And you can actually tell for yourself. We're in the exact same lighting conditions, very similar, if not practically identical angles. So everything should be pretty close to the same. The only difference is obviously the hardware and the technology that is powering it. So without further ado, let's get into the camera comparison. We're gonna go ahead and take a little walk through downtown St. Pete as we normally always do. Well, it's not really a walk, it's more like a car ride, driving around, stopping at my favorite murals. But we're gonna call it a walk nonetheless. This is a very bright, big, vibrant mural. And as you can tell, in typical Samsung fashion, the Samsung has overly saturated the colors. Now, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? It always comes down to personal preference. When we go ahead and we take a look at the 8 Pro, we can actually see the colors are a little bit softer. But I will have to say, I feel like the OnePlus 8 Pro actually maintained the details within the clouds a little bit better than the S20 Ultra, which is a little surprising, but it's also a welcome change. This is my favorite and yours. That is right, Frida Kahlo. It's Frida. It was Salvador Dali's mistress, if you will. So as you can see in this picture, the unibrow is still rocking, it is still there. But let's go ahead and look at the details. When we look at the S20 Ultra, we can see again, colors, deep, dark, saturated, bright. When we look at the 8 Pro, the colors are a little bit softer. They're a little bit warmer. They're a little nicer. They're a little gentler. This is, hey, I'm the OnePlus 8 Pro over here. Come on over here. Give me a hug. I want you to feel good about this picture. But is it better? Head down to the comments. Let me know. Tell me, which Frida do you think actually looks better? In this picture, we are looking at the S20 Ultra, and again, colors, deep, dark, saturated. OnePlus 8 Pro, softer, warmer, a little bit more cuddly. But which one do you think has the best picture? Which one do you prefer? If you've got a phone in each pocket, which one are you gonna pull out first? This is a little bit of a tougher shot. It was in the corner, so there was some shadow from the building. But over here, the sun, or was it over there? Either way, wherever it was, the sun was coming down on this photo really, really hard. I'm super impressed at how both of these cameras handled that sun. My opinion came out phenomenal for both of them, and I really can't tell the difference. And I think the reason behind it is it was already such a tough photo to process all that data to get it to look this good, that there really wasn't a whole lot of room for enhancements. This is kind of, you see what you get type of photo. Head down to the comments, tell me what you think. Is it the S20 Ultra or is it the OnePlus 8 Pro? So this one's a little bit different than what we're kind of used to with Samsung and OnePlus, and specifically the 8 Pro. In this picture, the S20 Ultra actually gave us the lighter, warmer picture, which is not typical of Samsung. The OnePlus 8 Pro gave us a little bit more of a darker, cooler picture. I actually think, my opinion, I like the 8 Pro better. If this is my subject and I know how it's going to come out, I'm going to reach for the OnePlus 8 Pro every time. Let's talk a moment about dirty lenses. in my Note 10 camera comparison to the S20 Ultra, got a lot of flack, I got a lot of noise, I got a lot of comments, I got a lot of accusations dirtying up my lens on my Note 10 Plus, which is completely not true. One thing I want you to remember is when you're using these amazing powerhouse flagship top-tiered smartphones, they actually come with a dirty lens sensor. That means that the camera, the phone, the technology, the smart stuff inside tells you, the simple little user, hey, your lens is dirty. Wipe it off. Both of these phones came with that kind of detection. Neither one of them ever indicated if it ever does tell. I go ahead, I grab my cloth, which I take with me when I do camera comparisons, and I wipe off the lens. And I make sure the lenses are nice and clean for every photo. And I did the exact same thing here. So I am extremely pleased at how this photo came out. Again, slight difference. You can tell the S20 Ultra is delivering here in this environment a cooler, crisper photo. Whereas when the OnePlus 8 Pro is giving us a little bit warmer, a little softer of a photo. I don't really think that's a bad thing. In this photo, we get the same typical results. It's kind of a common thread when comparing these two camera phones. We have Samsung cooler, sharper, more contrast with our colors. OnePlus 8 Pro, we see a much softer picture. We can see the light coming through onto the photo. I think Samsung does a better job at processing light out of pictures, whereas the OnePlus 8 Pro does an okay job, but it's not really excelling. It all comes down to personal preference. My personal preference in this photo is definitely, again, the S20 Ultra. So this photo, and you've seen it before, a big giant mural of a Doberman and an adorable little girl on the side of, I think that's a bookstore. I love Dobermans. You know I love Dobermans. I have 2. I want 3. Oh, I would love to have a baby Doberman. They're so cute. So what's impressive about this photo is absolutely nothing. They look practically identical. But now I want to take you on an option. You can actually flex your camera muscles, and this is the ultra wide photo. I'm taking the picture from the exact same location. So if you look at the bottom right, you can see it's pretty much identical on both photos, right? Because that's my starting point. So here we can actually see the Tropicana field a lot better. Whereas in the OnePlus 8 Pro, we don't even get to see the dome at all. Right? It's not even there. So something to think about if you're into wide angle or you want to get the most in your picture. It's kind of one of those things you pay for with the S20 Ultra. Flexing our features once again. We are in straight up nighttime mode, night sight. There's no light around me at all. This is the scene, my backyard, and I want you to see the detail that is maintained in the S20 Ultra. But the closer we get to the OnePlus 8 Pro, it gets a little fuzzy, gets a little hazy. So this is, again, one of those instances where you're paying for a higher end, more premium camera with some better features, and you actually get to feel and see those features in work right here in this photo. So in this photo is the exact same scene that we just took, except I turned off the features. There is no night mode activated on here. From a distance, they look pretty similar. The OnePlus 8 Pro does have a little bit light noise. So what we're gonna do is we're going to zoom in on both of the bushes with the light. And when you go ahead and look, it's not much, it's not a lot to write home about. You can't really do nothing with this photo anyways. I don't know what it's good for. However, the OnePlus 8 Pro loses the detail in a severe way. When we're looking at the S20 Ultra, the detail's a lot more detailed. You got more megapixels, you got more to work with. So this is, again, the benefit of having the slightly higher end, more premium phone. Now this picture, it's interesting. It is really, really interesting because the skies are completely different colors. I felt like this one was not that great of a picture, but because of the contrast of the skies, I wanted you to see it. But which one do you think is a better accurate representation of a nighttime sky? Because once the image processing starts and the AI and all the other software kick in, things come out different. Here we're taking a look at a scene of the studio. Nothing really too exciting, nothing too complicated. But one thing I do want to bring to your attention, the S20 Ultra, amazing bokeh effect. But one thing I don't like about this, and it doesn't happen all the time, but it happened here, is it kind of wiped out all of the details of the background boxes. If you look, you can't see any of the words, you can't see any of the letterings, but let's go ahead and take a look at the OnePlus 8 Pro, and you can actually see that it maintains the details of the actual letters. Unless you know what that is, there's really no way you're going to be able to read it and be like, what is this? I know what it is. The S20 Ultra has a great bokeh effect, but it can be slightly aggressive. Remember, we have a forward-facing 48 megapixel selfie cam. So it's very powerful. You can do a lot with it, but don't forget, it's not always point and shoot with Samsung. You got to go in there and make a couple little edits, and they make it really easy. They make it a little simple. But if you're a simple point and shooter and you don't want to go ahead and change that background effect, that might not be the camera for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at our last photo. OnePlus 8 Pro comes with this feature. It's new to me. It might not be new to you, but it's called Super Macro. Now, I tested this out. I played with it. Maybe the conditions in which I was shooting hadn't activated the feature, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't tell the difference. So I just used the main 48 megapixel camera on the OnePlus 8 Pro and the 108 megapixel camera on the S20 Ultra. Here, both of these photos came out absolutely amazing. I have no problems. I have no complaints. I was super impressed. I was like this close to it. That's how close it was, and it's still focused. Both phones did a great job. So I think this just about wraps up our camera comparison. Now, the big difference between these two is, of course, the price. And that is what you need to take into account. The S20 Ultra is a $1,400. We've been calling it $1,500 with taxes and all that stuff, blah, 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 versus the $1,000 OnePlus 8 Pro, which is still for OnePlus its most premium flagship device they have ever delivered. Guys, thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for liking, comment, subscribing. If you're not part of the channel, we are offering free memberships to the channel. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and you just became part of the community. Thanks for watching. Till next time, for the love of tech, namaste. Thanks Nomadic Gear for supporting the channel. I'm kind of known for spending a ridiculous amount of money on luggage and high-end backpacks. Then I came across Nomadic bags, and I absolutely fell in love with the Nomadic backpack, and now I'm in love with the Nomadic Carry-On Pro. This is a 2-bag-in-1 type of deal, and it will not disappoint you. If you're in the market for some new luggage, a messenger bag, or a backpack that's big enough to take on a trip and still carry on the plane, then look no further. Take a moment and check them out. Link is in the description. Don't forget to click on the red sale link at the top of the page. You'll thank me later.